My name is Dr. Joseph Steinberg. I'm a fellow at the Forest Research Foundation and I work at the University of Western Australia. My research topic is prizing fictions. I work on the history of literary prizes in Australia, and I also work on the history of creative writing programs in Australia. I think the thing that inspired me to pursue my current line of research is my intense love of reading. I've always loved reading, really ever since I learned to read, and I also absolutely love being read to. And I truly believe that were that love universalizable, were we able to improve attainment of literacy, both at the kind of basic and advanced level, that the world would be a fundamentally better place. So I think that my research is inspired by a desire to improve access to literacy across all levels of the education system. The primary way in which the Forest Research Foundation has supported my work is through the postdoctoral fellowship. This has really enabled a kind of unique level of scholarly autonomy that I think otherwise is more or less inaccessible in Western Australia. It's meant that I can pursue my research on my own terms, at my own pace, and indeed with the kind of full ambition that I aspire to bring to all of my scholarly projects. The other, more spontaneous way in which the Foundation has and continues to support my research are through various kind of academic opportunities that it provides. One of the real highlights of my time so far with the Foundation was the opportunity to interview the philosopher A.C. Grayling. It was this really wonderful, intimate, long-form interview, and it really allowed me to delve deep and to get my head around some of the most fascinating points that he makes in his newest book. If I were to point you to one sort of exciting moment in my research, it would be through this particular prop, which is a first edition copy of Thea Astley's excellent 1972 novel, The Acolyte. I guess I could call this a breakthrough because this was the moment in one of my research projects when I kind of knew that it was going to come to fruition. Reading this novel, which is now out of print, it's this reasonably minor, really interesting little kind of gem in our literary history. Reading this novel, it clarified for me that one of the most important stories about how to support the arts in Australia was being told through fiction. It was being told through the work of writers themselves. And when I read this novel, I realized that I could make the kind of arguments that I wanted to make about public support for arts funding in Australia through the work of writers themselves, that they'd already sort of done the work for me, so to speak. I think the thing that I find most rewarding about my work is the way that it allows me to speak to and to address the concerns of those currently working, as writers in Australia. What my research allows me to do is it allows me to document the history of people's efforts to support their creative endeavours. One way in which my research could impact the wider academic community or even the world is by speaking directly to those who are currently working in writing programs, who are currently sitting on literary prize panels, who are doing their part to sort of produce the future of writing in an Australian context. My hope really simply is that by learning a little bit more about the bigger picture of what they do, that they can modify their practice to make for a kind of better informed, more well-rounded, and ideally a sort of more, just future. That'd be my big hope for the research. One really fantastic thing that the Foundation does to foster global academic collaboration is that they are constantly inviting researchers to come stay here and to speak to our scholars and fellows. And as scholars and fellows, we're also able to nominate researchers who we'd like to come visit us. And it means that we can proactively build these intellectual communities both interstate and internationally. It's really quite wonderful. My research work has offered me these kind of fantastic opportunities to collaborate with a whole array of individuals, be that in the form of interviews with famous writers, school outreach opportunities, and also more recently some collaboration with the School of Education at UWA. This is one of the highest pleasures that research has to offer because it brings you into contact with the people to whom your research really matters.